Greetings to all, and warm welcome to all of you, my dear sisters and brothers, and my dear friends. But you all are welcome to a new session of Teresa of Avila's Meditations, Falling into the Arms of God. Today I'm going to talk about what is real and distracted conversations. All divine things gave me great pleasure, she says. Yet those of the world held me prisoner. I seem to have wanted to reconcile two opposites, the spiritual life and the joys, pleasures, and pastimes of the senses. Teresa struggled enormously with her dichotomous life. That is, with her desire for God and the one hand and her enjoyment, on the one hand, and her enjoyment of life's pleasures on the other. Teresa was not naive, however, and she was perfectly aware that God works in and through the world. It was the attachment to the ways of the world that concerned her, the desire for her senses to be satiated through the pleasures of personal attention and recognition. It was the subtlety of her pride and ego that she watched as they would rise again and again and again to receive praise and acknowledgement. Even though she was ostensibly doing God's work, she knew that she was erroneously claimed the credit. Teresa instinctively knew that there was a greater purity to be had in living in this world, that there was a truth beyond personal and societal desires. In many Eastern traditions, the ego and the world are understood as illusions. The reality is spirit, and all else is not real. Sometimes this philosophy can appear somewhat harsh, since it seems to dismiss as not real many of our painful earthly experiences. To me, this speaks of separation or ego selves from our God selves. But the ego is as much God as spirit is. To say that the ego is not God implies that it comes from elsewhere, but from where? All is God. If we try to deny the ego, it will only fight harder to survive. And if we look underneath all the desires and the claims of the ego, we always come to the same conclusion. The ego is looking to be loved. Teresa was known for her compassion and was always readily available to console and counsel any nuns, priests, or people in the community who were having difficulties. Love one another, she would say. It is love that allows the ego to lie down calmly and trust in the Spirit of God working in our lives. It is love that shows us that the story of the ego are not as enticing as we first thought. When our ego rears its head with its demands, ideas, and get-rich schemes, we would do well first to send it love, and then to send it more love. When it is calm, check back in. Very often we will find that its impulsive idea have completely dissolved. Sometimes this admonition to love, and especially to love others and their ideas, can seem overly demanding. Our reaction can be run since nobody enjoys being commanded to do anything. Our reaction can be run since nobody enjoys being, and many of the great prophets and religious figures have taught us. Yes, we are commanded to love. Ensuring someone that she is loved allows her to return to the truth of her existence. This assurance can be given through a simple gesture or tender word. Truth without love can be harsh. Love without truth can fail into sentimentality. Together, they work miracles, since they relate to our wholeness or ego and our spirit. Hold the ego as you would a small child and simply allow to love to permeate no matter what arises. Just allow the love to flow. So we're coming to another session in the distracted conversations. And if we are honest with ourselves, well, that happens. And let me say, sometimes on a regular basis. We are so sometimes caught up in so many conversations that either way we don't listen, it's got boring, or it's not making sense, or we're losing concentration if something is being said that we really care to listen to. So when I began to indulge in these conversations, seeing that they were customary, it did not seem to me that they would bring the harm and distractions to my soul that I afterwards found such behavior to entail. During Teresa's early lives in the Carmelite convent, it was common practice for the nuns to receive visitors. Owing to her father's wealth, Teresa had her own apartment in which she frequently entertained her friends and eagerly engaged in the worldly gossip that she still so dearly loved. It's not strange to us. Her life as a nun became perfectionary, since she attended required prayers but often did not actively participate. She noted how the conversations she indulged in distracted her from pursuing her spiritual life. Her mind became filled with details of societal life, and her thoughts strayed to all kinds of desires and dreamed outcomes. It was only through receiving a vision in which she was entreated to stop these interactions and told to listen to the voices of angels that Teresa halted her participation in what she called the ways of the world. She was being implored to make space for the voice of the divine to be heard and not to be cluttered her mind with worldly wishes and other desires that they were not to hear or to her ultimate benefits. How easy it is to become distracted. Very subtle we can hinder ourselves from the soul growth we are called to. Our daily conversations are one such way for this to occur. Gossip, for Teresa, was a major component of distracted conversations. But what exactly is gossip, and how deeply does it affect who we are in our everyday lives? The human psyche can be likened to a never-ending dramatic play, as the Greek playwrights and Shakespeare, among a few experts on human nature, have portrayed so well. In order for a drama to be successful, there needs to be at least two characters, but preferably many more to provide a rich and varied story. The unfolding of our personal psychological story and history occurs as we move from being the protagonist to a minor character, from the victim to the perpetrator. This participation in our stories can become addictive. It is how many led their lives. It would like to suggest trying a new role, that of lightning technician, placing light on situations arising and scenes being enacted, allowing for a delivered or a different view of reality. How does this person look in this light? How do I look when I am saying these lines? Would another method of communication open the scenes into a more loving dialogue? Is there truth to my words, or am I repeating second-hand information or socially dictated phrases? Where there is truth and love, the soul is nurtured. There is no need for stimulating the dramatic nature of the psyche. We no longer require other people's characters and stories, for there is no drama for them to act in. Concern for others becomes a real and loving experiences. Too often we become caught in our own stories or in the drama of others. By becoming the lightning technician, we can effectively remove ourselves from the stage and see things in a different light. Allow yourself, my dear ones, to watch your conversations with others. Are they coming from a place of integrity and depth? Or are they coming made automatically without thoughts? Are they calm and loving, or are they dramatic? And there's no need to judge, only to watch. It's not our place to judge, but only to love. May God bless you. May He keep you from all harm, and may the Spirit guide you on your journey. This is your Pastor Jetty. Bye.